Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Blackout Gaming TV. This is the ETF2L Season 6 Award Show, hosted by me, Ryushi, and joining me with a fabulous panel of guests. John will be, as always, providing the beautiful camera work of, well, it's only going to be mumble, so at least he can't miss anything this time. But, as I said, a beautiful panel of guests. We should introduce them one by one, so I'll start from the top of mumble with one of our ones who hasn't got a camera. So, Bulow, welcome.
Hello.
And moving downwards, we have Deox from who's going to be filling our role of Div 1 pundit. So welcome to Deox.
Hello.
Hildreth, the all-knowing master of Highlander.
What?
Well, almost.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Filling in for Getaway, who has unfortunately not turned up. We've got Permzilla, ETF2L head admin, and possibly a pyro of the season. Who knows?
Hello.
And also joining us is going to be Scissors, filling up our Prem debut slot.
Hello.
So that is going to be up, and we're going to be talking about who's won what, what's happened in the season, interesting things that I can think about, and we're going to be laughing at Hildreth. I'm Bulow.
Bulow.
Sorry.
Bulow.
Bulow. Oh god, my mouth is not working today. It's not going to go well. Should we jump straight into it, or should we have a little chat about how the season went, how we felt the maps went? Anything interesting that anyone can think of? Obviously a no. Wow, thanks guys. Brilliant.
What was the question? Anything interesting about the season?
Anything interesting in the season?
Do you want me to recap it? For you?
Yeah, go for a recap.
I think Bulow should recap the final. What do you think?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll start with the playoffs then. So, our 4 playoff teams were. Jump in.
Oh my god, I thought you knew what you were doing, man.
What I'm doing, I just wasn't concentrating.
The 4 playoff teams. There were us, Panda, It's All Good, who came first. We came second. Killswitch, who came third, and Chess Club Techniques, who came fourth. And if you want to know the rest of the table, I believe Stacked came fifth. Should we call them SNSD? What do you prefer to be called,
Jamais vu.
Came sixth. Seventh came Fair Enough, or Splendid Gaming. And last came the Americans.
Not really one that was predicted to end up like that, considering the beginning of the season when everyone thought the Americans would destroy everything. I guess they just didn't put the effort into it. Their ping's obviously becoming an issue, and the time difference as well. So, in an interesting season, obviously the finals were a very good game.
No, they weren't.
I thought they were quite good.
The final game was pretty boring, to be perfectly honest. It was boring playing it, and I imagine it's even worse watching it.
Oh no, I had fun.
That's only because you were losing, Bulow. The winners and for the watchers, then I think. But yeah, I mean, we can move on. We can move on to the Highlander Awards, because of course that is what we're all really about here. Really here for about. I don't know. Anyway, I'm losing this. What is this?
Do you want some help?
Yes, I was expecting Getaway to help me out here, but he's not here. So obviously, we've got a lot of categories in Highlander Awards. We've got one for each of the classes, and also one for Most Valuable Player, one for Best Prem Debut, and one for Best Caster. So I think if we pretty standardly do all the classes and then go on to the more sort of important ones at the end. Everyone's alright with that?
It's fine by me, man.
So, I mean, also can we, because I think everyone except from Deox here was part of the nominations for it. Would that have been right?
Well, Scissors isn't.
Well, if I was nominated or if I...
No, because I think the Prem players nominate people who they thought was good, but they weren't allowed to nominate their own teammates. Is that right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
If you tell us who you nominated and then who you think deserved it, before I eventually reveal who got it, would that be a good format to do it?
Yeah, that sounds about good.
I guess.
Okay, so good. Right, so we'll start off with Scout. It's the first class, and last season it was Lazy Bear who won it on top. So we'll see who wins it this time. So we'll start off with Bulow. Who did you nominate? And who do you think eventually deserves it?
Oh, I need to look up who I nominated here. 2 seconds. Can't even remember.
Okay, Hildreth will move on to you
I
while
can
he's...
tell you if you want.
Have you seen it? No, I have it saved. I did see it though. I just can't remember who. Oh, I nominated Sorax, so I couldn't nominate Lazy Bear because Sorax played really well this season.
Okay, fair enough. And who do you think? And who do you think deserves it?
Well, Lazy Bear. I think Lazy Bear deserves it, of course. Sorax would be a worthy winner.
Okay, fair enough. Hildreth?
I went for Sorax as well. I know, sorry, Lazy. I just thought it would be a bit boring if Lazy Bear got more awards, so I went for Sorax.
Did win 3 last season, so
To be honest, though, between Lazy Bear and Sorax, there's no other real candidate.
well, looking at the awards, it's pretty fair. So I'll read out the nominations. Then Scissors can give me his. Yeah.
Oh, good, you got it under
I'm on
control.
top of it.
Just checking, man.
Yeah.
I'm here too.
I'll read out the nominations. So we had Sorax with 57% nominations, Lazy Bear with 29% nominations, and Buttnose with 14% nominations. No one else was nominated. So Scissors, if you want to give your.
Well, just like Hildreth said, I thought it would be a little boring if Lacy won once again, so I nominated and voted for Sorax. And obviously because he's good. But I think those two are you also said before, they are like the best 2 scouts in Highlander right now. So, yeah.
Perm, did you get to vote on it? Because you're an admin.
Yeah, since I played, I got to vote as well. Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to give your thoughts as well.
I nominated Sorax, since I think he deserved it over Lazy Bear, to be honest. Like, those two are sort of clear ahead of everyone else, but Sorax just played a bit better, I think.
Fair enough. Deox, I think, as you guys are moving up next season, and if you... who... I'm assuming you've scrimmed against them quite often. Who are you least scared of playing?
Least scared of playing?
Most scared of playing.
Most scared of playing. Next season, I suppose if they're still playing it, would have to be Highlander.
Well, it's either Sky GEJ. We're talking about Sky
In terms of scouts.
Oh,
come on.
But yeah, it's definitely Sorax. I mean, the way we've seen him play and how I watched him for the season is just definitely playing a lot better, especially compared to Lazy Bear as he was in last season before that.
I think the difference is that Sorax, I think he hits a lot of meat shots, like he very rarely misses and stuff, but I think it's maybe a bit more difficult for him playing in stacked, because I don't think he necessarily gets the same support that Lazy Bear does, and it's all good. But at the end of the day, Lazy Bear gets and see a number of frags, and like that's kind of what you want a scout to do. They're like a cleanup class.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I don't know. Just in time for this award show, Gentleman John released his latest stats article about who the best scouts were in terms of statistics, not
Where can I read that?
in terms of raw damage.
Is it on Vanilla or what?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it, actually.
that's on VTV. Yeah. Vanilla TF2. Sorry. And in them, he gives his sort of rating, and actually, a scout who was not at all nominated actually wins it here with Abra. So Abra gets the top score. Who was Abra playing for?
Kill
Switch. Okay. And Sorax and Lazy Bear following really, really close after, but in that order. So, interestingly enough, someone that no one sort of really noticed, and yet he got really good stats off. Is that something that you noticed playing against him? Or...
Well, Abra only really played like less than half the season, I think, which probably counted against him in terms of getting nominations.
Okay, fair enough.
Probably helps with stats as well.
Yeah, the stats do get sort of a bit biased depending on how long you've played.
Against either us or Highlander. I don't know who all he actually played against. Like, he's obviously a very good player, but probably needs to be taken into consideration.
I watched him against Chess Club, and he didn't seem to make much of an impact, to be honest. Though, no, he's really strong scout though. But it was Sorax and Lazy Bear were the main people making the impact in the season, so it doesn't surprise me.
Okay, well, I'm going to reveal the scores now. Then, in that case, so obviously, of the 3 nominations, you can see who eventually won. So, in third place is going to be Buttnose with 102 votes and 15%. In second place, now this may surprise you, it's going to be Sorex with 256 votes, which is 38% of the vote. So Laserbear does winning it again with 312 votes, which is 47%. So almost a 50% vote by the ETF2L community to put Laserbear in first position there, which I mean, you guys obviously don't agree with it. You think Sorex is a lot better.
Well, I don't think anybody is saying that Sorex is a lot better, but I mean, I don't think it should have been that one-sided. But to me, I just think it's because Laserbear is more well-known. Because the two are, like, anyone who plays on this level would agree that the two are very similar in terms of skill. So it could have been either of them. Like, they're both deserving of it. But, like, I think Laserbear ultimately won that big because he's more well-known.
I'm completely okay with this result. I approve.
Yeah, I mean, I would be okay.
Well, yeah, you would be.
With so. Oh yeah, he's your teammate.
But there is, of course, a little bit of an aspect of a popularity contest. Don't take too much into hand. It's all about the little pixel medals there.
I mean, I don't think it matters who wins out of both of them. They were both really good this season. I guess Laserbear won because he's much more well known in the Highlander community. In fact, now in general.
So, I don't think there's anything else we can say more about scouts. So, do you want to move on to the soldiers?
Oh, there's just one more thing I'd like to add about scouts. It's quite interesting because I would definitely say that last season, like a lot of the scouts, you would have thought we talked about them quite a lot, especially in the playoffs and things. But I think that was mostly because the Criticola got that massive buff, and now this season, like scouts kind of went back to being having less of an impact on games, which really goes to show you how completely broken the Criticola was at the end of last season.
I think something happened to Ryushi.
I was in the middle of a monologue there.
Yeah.
That is annoying. Where did we get to on stream?
Bulow was talking about Criticola or something. To be honest, I wasn't listening, but I'm sure I agreed with him. Did I?
Probably.
That's good. Okay, I guess we'll move on to Soldier. Are you still down, Ryushi?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yep.
on Mumble.
Move on to Soldier. Mookie told me to move on to the good stuff already, which really means him.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I'll revise the format a little bit. I'll tell you the nominations, then you guys can tell me who you nominated and who you think deserves it. Okay? Because I messed it up a little bit in the first one. So, the nominations were, I won't give any numbers, Zoob, Mookie, Ondkaya, Zebasai, and T. So, going from the top, Bulow again, who did you nominate personally, and who do you think deserves it?
I'm gonna guess that I nominated Zoob. Yeah, I nominated Zoob, but I think Mookie should win it, because I think Mookie was one of the best players this season, all around. Like, he really carried us in quite a lot of the maps.
Hildreth?
Oh, who did I nominate?
Yes.
Soldier. Well, Mookie. There's only really 2 soldiers this season, Zoob and Mookie. In my opinion, anyway. And obviously I went for Mookie. And to be honest, he probably deserves it over Zoob, but Zoob's has played incredibly well this season as well. There's like 2 different styles going on there. You got Mookie who goes crazy for medics, and you got Zoob who's a bit more all round.
We can talk about the stats later, Hildreth. The stats won't lie on that one.
Yep. Scissors, you're next.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is very much like with the scouts. I think both Mookie and Zoob are very good soldiers, probably equally good. But I did nominate Mookie because to me, he just seems like he does so much for it's all good. Like, whenever they need something to happen, he always makes it happen. So, I think he deserves it. Although, Zoob won his first title. So, I'd be happy no matter who got it, actually, between the two.
Fair enough. And Deox, if you want to give us your input of who you're least looking forward to playing against.
Well, what I've played so far, I mean, it's definitely got to be like my vote this season was definitely for Mookie, and the stats even showed that this season. Definitely, was just generally the contest between Zub and Mookie themselves. Not that T's a bad soldier or anything.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. So, obviously, pretty much 2 soldier season according to you guys, and well, the fact that only 2 soldiers were allowed into the pool of voting is pretty much self-explanatory. So Zub and Mookie, but who got first point and who got second? So, looking at it right now, it is 39% to the second place and 61% to the first place. And second place is going to be Mookie with 246 votes, and first goes to Zub with 382.
You know,
So,
Zub will be more disappointed losing than that he won than he lost, because have you seen his Steam profile?
He wants to be second place.
He has every second place he's ever achieved written on his Steam profile.
So, well, I mean, he's been recognised his greatness by the community. What more can he want? Even if he's always second, come on.
Well, I'm gonna
Get it together.
Even though we all know how good Mookie is and how much of a good season he had, if it's so good, I think if there's any player that deserves the award as well as a title more than Zub, then you'll have to try and find him, because Zub's been consistently the best soldier in the Highlander scene, even from the days when Colony were getting wrecked by everybody in Prem. He was one of the few good players they had that was carrying. So,
Now see
no, go
Now,
ahead.
see the stats that Gentleman John has posted last night. Completely disagree with you. They make out that Mookie is by far the best soldier in Prem.
Yeah, no, I wasn't disputing that. He had a very good season. It's just that all the other seasons, Zub doesn't get
It's a
anywhere near the
lifetime
credit he
achievement award
deserves.
for Zub. He should just retire now, so we never have to play against him ever again.
Okay, fair enough. So obviously, congratulations to Zub for winning that. Commiserations to Mookie. I'm sure he'll message someone and say how disappointed he is.
But another thing you won't appreciate, Ryushi, is if you play with him on the team, how much he does for the team in terms of calling and just coordinating stuff. He's a very strong player and smart player. So I think it is a deserved award, but Mookie should feel unlucky. He should feel sad.
Well, it's a very tight race, I'd assume. Well, actually, it wasn't, was it? It was like 60 versus 30. That's our 40. That's disgraceful. Ricky was by far the best. I'm offended by this. Maybe this is retribution for Lazy Bear somehow managing to win Best Scout.
Well, I mean, I think from watching everything, Zub was doing. They seem to be pretty equal. Although Mookie obviously ridiculously good against medics and made a lot of plays for your team, Bulow. If you do.
Well, the thing is, I would completely disagree. I would say that Mookie makes plays, but that's just him playing the game. I would say that someone like he is more of a player who makes plays, and sometimes they come off, sometimes they don't. Whereas Mookie's, I think he's evolved as a soldier, and I think you can see in the stats compared from this season compared to last season that he's much more well-rounded this season. He's still got it in his locker to make a play when he wants to, and that can get us out of trouble. But his all-round gameplay this season, I thought, was fantastic. Obviously, he's kind of shifted over to like the black box and the contra, and that gives you increased durability and stuff. But like you can see it in the stats that he's like doing a lot of damage, killing the most medics. He's just doing everything. So Zub, I think, is kind of very consistent at what he does, and whenever he needs to, whenever Hildreth tells him to, he can go off and do whatever the hell he wants, whatever he's told. But I just think Mookie just is much more explosive throughout a game.
Scissors, as a Pyro main, are playing against Zub and Mookie, kind of the counter, it's kind of protecting your medic there. Would you agree with what's been said so far?
Well, I guess I would, yeah. I mean, Mookie is definitely much more explosive. He is the guy I would see flying towards the sprayer, much more than Zub. I remember one time we played them on Lakeside. I remember Mookie got like 11 mid picks or something. It was insane. So like Bulow said, he can like we have Tom on soldier, and he's like very much a pick soldier. Whereas Mookie kind of has that balance, like he's kind of a thing in between. He can do work on the flank, he can get damage done, but he can also get the picks. So I agree with that for the most part, yeah.
Anyone else? Any other points that anyone would like to bring up?
Nope.
Permzilla is a seasoned Highlander soldier. I think he should say something.
Oh yeah, Permzilla.
I
Best
forgot,
English Highlander soldier.
I forgot you were even in the call, to be honest.
Oh wow, thanks. I just think Zoob is a lot smarter of a player, and I prefer to have a soldier which watches the flank and sorts the flank out rather than just goes after the medic a lot, which I think Muki does too much.
I see. I think that's maybe an unfair criticism. Like, obviously, I'm much closer to it, so I can kind of see how Mickey's progressed as a player in terms of what he does. I think it's certainly true that maybe 7 or 8 months ago that he just went for the medic all the time, but now he's.
I'm not saying that he does it all the time. It's just I still think he does it too much. Like he's not that's what Zebasai does. Just went for the medic all the time, and that's too much. But I think Muki still does it slightly too much. And I don't know if it's me, just personally, I prefer having a soldier watching the flank, and that creates space for other people to do stuff. That's just my personal opinion on soldiers, I guess.
He did get 50% more medic kills per hour than any other player. Should be noted, Muki. Just saying.
Yeah, he gets the medic picks, but it leaves the flank quite open. That's just
So does lazy.
what I think.
Anyway, let's move on. Muki's the best, but Zoo won. Move on.
Okay, so moving on to the Pyro, one that will be rather close to Scissors' heart. Even though, unfortunately, Scissors, you weren't nominated.
No, I don't know why. I'm clearly the best.
Anyone. So the nominations were, in no particular order, Beep, Johnny, Candle, Rudy, Steve, Permzilla, and Ascendry. So if we go down our list again, once again, Bulow, if you want to bring in your nomination and who you do think deserves it.
I voted for Beep, and well, he's my national team leader. I had to stick with some national pride. But I think Permzilla deserves it. His Lifetime Achievement Award for being the greatest all-rounder. And Pyro is pretty much a trash can class anyway, so it doesn't really matter if he wins it. That
I
one.
knew the one retarded nomination would be you. Sorry, Beep.
Hildreth, you're next on my list.
Well, I couldn't nominate Steve, so I just went for Rudy. Mainly because we played this so good all season. He's got a lot better since last season.
Perm, who did you nominate? Obviously, you can't nominate yourself.
I can't remember. Hold on.
By the way, I'm loving that you've put up that image of the monkey for Permzilla. That's great.
I think I nominated Rudy, but I think Steve should win. I just nominated Rudy because I think Steve's going to get enough nominations anyway, and Rudy's probably second best. I don't know.
That was my reasoning. If I was to nominate the best Pyro, I would have nominated Steve. But yeah.
Okay, and Scissors, as a Pyro main yourself, who did you nominate?
I nominated Steve. I guess it makes sense that I should probably use it on someone else, but Steve is just clearly the best. Like, he's just on a whole other level than anyone else right now, so if anybody else wins it, I'm gonna be mad. Or not mad, like, it's not like I care that much, but he's the only one that...
Slightly perturbed that
Yes,
that is how the universe is
important.
wide out.
But yeah, like, he clearly deserves it, so...
Okay, fair enough. So, Deox, as a spy main coming up from Division 1, who are you least looking forward to playing against?
It would definitely have to be Steve, as everyone else has said. I mean, I don't know what it is about playing against Steve. He just always seems to be the right place at the right time, sort of thing. I just don't understand how there's always other powers to let everything slip up, but Steve, just nothing gets past him. I don't know why.
Enough. So, on to who did win. We had 3 people in the vote, which was Ascendry, Steve, and Permzilla. And Ascendry came third with 88 votes, 14% of the... Permzilla was second with 207, 3% of the votes. And Steve with, perhaps unsurprisingly, top with 333 votes, which is 53% of them. So, you know, a fair amount of votes going to Permzilla and Ascendry, but Steve obviously just dominating everything.
I think that's fair overall.
I think that's fair. I don't think anybody can argue against Steve being the best Pyro, so... I mean, it's pretty much a nothing category, because Steve is by far and away the best one there.
I have noticed how Rudy has started copying Steve. So, you know, maybe he'll get close.
In what way do you...
He stops sitting next to you, babysitting you, and decides to get frags. I don't know if you saw when we played on Badwater in the regular season, he got like this ridiculous 5k, which he'd had never done back in the day because you'd have told him to sit next to me, I'm scared.
No, see, I don't tell Rudy to do that. The problem is Rudy finally got exasperated and bored of Pyro, so then he just started going around doing Pyro stuff and killing people. And funnily enough, you're able to do that. Like, I think this is the thing. Like, Steve is obviously like a really good player and stuff, but I think maybe the fact that this earlier on, because the Highlander flank is maybe more passive than a lot of other flanking classes in other teams, it kind of means that there's just general damage going out, and Steve, whenever he roams around, can get pick up frags based on other people's damage as well. And I think that helps his stats a lot. But obviously, it's great his good game awareness to know whenever he can go off and do that.
Okay. Any last thoughts by anyone? Have you all exhausted yourselves on talking of a trash can class, as Bulow said?
Yeah, can't wait to see how Steve does in the Prem nominations of Medic.
Oh, can I actually, Permzilla, while we're here, am I allowed to nominate people? Because I'm on a 66 Prem team.
No, you have to play the games, same as
We're going to
Highlander.
kick you just before the season ends.
Oh well, never mind.
Okay, so we'll move on to a very, very important one now, which Hildreth will be very interested in, obviously. It's going to be our Demo Man of the Season. So, the nominations were in no particular order. Huey, Cadis, Joe Nufk, Hildreth, and Emilio Estevez.
Joe Nufk.
Joe in UFC.
Come on.
Whatever. But, so, we'll start off with Bulow once again. Who did you nominate and who do you think deserves it and why?
I nominated Huey. I thought he did really, really well, given that the combo for Stout kind of just came together at the last minute. He's a very enjoyable person to play with because he's always very calm and he has a very soft voice, so I like that. But I hope Joe wins. Joe's the best. I'm gonna be very partisan in this. There's probably no point really asking me.
Yeah, well, I was hoping that you weren't going to be too biased, but well, you've come in here and just said that your team is amazing and that you're the best thing ever. So
well, we did win the regular season if you hadn't noticed. But yeah, proceed.
But it's all about playoffs, though, isn't it?
Proceed.
I think Hildreth would agree. But moving on to Hildreth, how do you feel? Who did you nominate, and who do you think deserves it?
I nominated Joe because he's got a lot better since last season. Like before last season, I could see potential in him, but this season he really stepped his game up. I was thinking of Emilio, and actually, to be honest, I forgot about Huey completely. But coming to think about it, Huey actually had a really good season as well. But yeah, I think Joe probably, or if Huey actually got nominated, he would have, because you couldn't vote for Huey, but he deserves it as well.
Okay. So moving on to Permzilla.
I think I nominated for Huey, but I think Cadis deserves it. You have to take into account this isn't team, and it's individuals, and I think Cadis is still the best individual demo. It's just the other teams just better, so it makes players look better, if that makes sense. It doesn't just apply for demo; it applies to all the classes. But I think if Cadis was in a better team, it'd look better, I guess.
You're saying so? You're blaming the fact that Cadis did not have as good a season. This is according to the stats. Did not have as good a season as say other demos. As the fact that your team is terrible.
Yes.
Fair enough. Don't even need to insult anyone this time. Scissors. Moving on. Nominations and who you picked?
I nominated Hildreth, and I also voted for him because I believe he carried his team, not carried, but I believe he led his team to the victory this season, and I think he deserves the award for that.
Is that more MVP than demo though?
Both, I guess.
Is that
But is it any different? Because you can do you talk about Zoob about how much influence he
Well-
has within your team and organising stuff. So clearly, if we're taking that into account for one class, then obviously your ability to communicate within the game is really important. Doesn't really matter what you're still
It's true.
playing that.
Well, I
class.
still think the demo man is he has an ability unlike any other class to lead the team. He can put out the damage, he can move out and take the ground. and I believe that Hildreth was the best at doing that. So I don't know if he should get the I don't know if he should get the MVP or the demo of the season, but I definitely think he made best use of the demo class. So I voted for him on demo of the season.
Okay. So I will now announce.
Whoa, what about Deox?
Sorry. Oh
wow,
God.
Ryushi, wow.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Deox. I'm so
Right,
sorry.
get it
Please,
together.
please,
We're only
please.
the way through.
Tell us who's back you most want to stab next season.
Yeah, I actually did. I'm gonna have to go with Permzilla here and vote that my vote actually went to Kadis because I mean, based on individual performance, I mean, there's nothing I could really fault him on, and then especially since like Hildreth and Joe, they're really big team players, but I don't know, it's just individual skill, and I think Kadis has got it.
I want to make a point. When It's So Good played Yamazu, Joe was the better player in that game, so that's why I went for Joe. It's no doubt that Kadis is the best demo man out of all these demos, by far though. In terms of performance in the actual match, I think Joe was the better player. It's about the impact in the game that matters. That's my opinion anyway. What do you think, Bulow? Go on, Ryushi,
Well,
just
in
get it
general,
over
I
with.
am
We all
of
know
the opinion
Kadis
that
won
players
anyway.
who play for the better teams should generally be the ones getting into these awards, because as you say, it's about the impact. I mean, it's very hard to unpick the idea that a player could have a lot more impact or a lot more potential playing with better players, because that's kind of redundant and goes without saying. Now, obviously, Kadis has by far is by far the best DM or anybody in the division by a country mile. But if he is maybe held back by his team because his understanding of the game is weakened by the inability of his team to maybe understand concepts or play at a certain pace or things, then it's hard to know if he would be able to make such a drastic jump forward if he played for Highlander.
We could always switch. No, not going to go for that?
Permzilla, swap Kadis for Hilldog. That would be awesome.
No comment.
Well, I will now reveal the winner. So, 3 people did make it through to the voting stage, and third place, surprisingly, was Hildreth with 115 votes, 17% of the votes. Joe NUFC with 201 votes, 29%, and Kadis first with 376, 54% of the votes. So, still incredibly popular, even if he didn't have even if him and his team didn't have as good of a season.
Doesn't surprise me.
Surprise anyone else apparently either. So we'll move straight on to the next class, which is going to be the heavy. So an incredibly important class and the most important one in Highlander. I think all of you would agree. The most highly skilled class as well.
Heavy is a very important class. It's very hard to play without a good heavy. I'm not going to say the obvious joke here.
Well, yes. We've all seen the stats. We've all seen Kakao2's stats, but
why are you calling out Kalti here?
I'm not. I'm just making reference to the stats that were posted last night. Anyway, actual nominations. Who was nominated? So we had 5 nominations, which was Deox, Jamal, Kunai, Samzi, and Linus. So an interesting picks there. Bulow, who did you nominate, and who do you think?
I nominated Deox. I think Deox should win because he's just a really good heavy. He'd probably be a bit more on the defensive side, but I think that suited the Highlander style very well. And he's just a really calm, authoritative player, like when you play with him. So yeah, I just think he's probably the best heavy at the minute. Obviously Jamal, whenever he's in form, is probably standout player, but he really didn't seem to show any interest this season, so his performance is understandably dipped because of that.
I suppose I should go. I can't remember. You can tell me who I actually nominated, Perm, but I think I nominated Samzi.
Yeah, you did, yeah.
And I went for him because I couldn't go for Deox, and you said Jamal had a pretty poor season in comparison to last season, so Samzi I felt was probably the next up there in the heavies. Though it's heavy, what can I say? Go on, Scissors.
Oh, it's me? Well, like, just for as long as I can remember, I regarded Pidox as the best heavy, and he still is to me. And I think now that he won the championship, he deserves to win it, because he's the best and he won, so I will be disappointed if anyone else wins. And he's also a really, really, really nice guy.
But because well, here's the thing. Like, obviously, last season, Pidox wasn't. I don't think he got on the nominations, even though he was probably Suki Doorworks' like standout player. Whereas this season, he's gone to Highlander, like a better team, and he has like stepped up to that level and done really, really well. So just think that's an interesting contrast of it is. Like what we're saying is interesting. Maybe it's because Downman is able to influence the game much more.
I also think just because everybody knows who Kados is, so like it's once again this is kind of a popularity contest, to be fair.
Permzilla, your thoughts as well?
I nominated Samzy as well. Just sort of more during the season, I guess. I'd put Pidox second. Like, he does a solid job, but I just didn't notice him. That's why I went for Samzy. Which is probably like a good thing if you don't notice him. I guess shows that he's doing.
Well,
his
see,
job,
I was about to say that, Permzilla.
Yeah.
Like, I would say that Pidox. Like, I love playing with Pidox because you always feel safe around him.
But then you're used to playing with Kelty, so.
Oh, wow.
Caldu, I feel safe with Caldu, sort of.
What happened to George? Thought he was going to play
RFX.
heavy. Yeah, IFX.
Yeah, he's on our roster, but he's just kind of all-round substitute.
It's like the Russian version of Permzilla,
Yeah.
except not as good.
Too kind.
Okay, and moving on to our Div 1 representative, Deox, what about heavies? Like them?
Not too much I could say about heavies, but to be honest, I did vote for Pidox. I mean, it's not really much a heavy can do, particularly to stand out from the rest, although I did feel that Samzy had quite a lot to put in this season, even though I still think Pidox just simply came out top. Not much else to say in heavies, to be honest.
Oh, I'd also like to say that Pidox was a vast improvement on Nyunin for Highlander, and that probably goes a long way to explaining why they were ultimately
Wow.
successful this season.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna... So, a pretty resounding approval for Pidox there, and all of you think he deserves to win this, essentially. So, I will now announce who won. There was 4 people in the voting pool. Last position was Pidox with 122
What?
votes.
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Third was Kunai with 138. Second was Jamal with 154, and Samzy topped the board with 235. So, an interesting result there. Comment on it?
I think it comes down to like Samzy's just more well known than a guy like Pidox. So I mean, I'm not saying that he isn't a good heavy or anything, but I think that is a really big factor as well.
Well,
And,
it
yeah.
goes to show the fact that he came below Kunai and Jamal does so that he is probably less well known, yeah. Although they did talk about Kunai on the stats that you were mentioning earlier, and apparently she had the best stats. So, you know, maybe she deserves it. But Samzy obviously does the winner. I think I'd be disappointed for Pidox because he's on my team, and I think he was the best. But Samzy, if as well, had a really good season, so can't argue too much, man. Come on,
Anything else anyone
Bulow.
wants to say?
Well,
Bulow?
Share.
I can't remember because we didn't really play Stack very often. Didn't really see Samzy much in action.
Okay, excellent insight there from Bulow. So, unless there's anything anyone else can say, I think we'll move on to Engineer. And there was an awful lot of nominations for Engineer, actually.
When I was initially putting together my nominations, I left Engineer blank because I couldn't think of any. Then I remember Freaky played Engineer and I nominated Freaky.
There was quite a few. So we had, in no particular order, Zimmer, Fenrir, Musa, Freaky, Evil.
Have you cut out again, Ryushi?
I don't think so, have I?
It's a big
Me.
build-up. You didn't say Lenny, so
I did say Lenny.
No,
didn't hear
you
you.
got up to evil, didn't you?
I
Stop.
said it. Hang on. So I said evil 3 times. There's evil, and there's evil, and there's Lenny and Najunin.
The
There's
evil being
there's
the
American
American.
evil, and then there's Chess
Yeah.
Club evil.
Yeah, just to make that clear. 2 evils.
I think
So-
every team's engine somebody.
Well, this is what I mean. And apart, like whenever with how it's Min, such an anonymous class. So yeah,
Just so we're about to say Ryushi, who did you guys nominate? I
Yeah,
went
please.
for Lenny. Actually, no, I went for Evil, I think. Perm, help me out here.
Yeah, you went for evil.
Yeah, Evil. I've played some North American games before, and Evil's really good. And when we played against him, he was outperforming a lot of the European engineers. I don't think there's only really one clear winner this season. It's probably going to be Lenny.
Well, you may be surprised. But we will move on to Bulow, if you'd like to give your nominations and who you think.
see, I've already said this, but I think you cut out, so you didn't hear. I said I initially left my nomination blank. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I remember Freaky, so I nominated Freaky.
you
but
said
of
that.
course
Yeah,
I
but-
voted
yeah,
Lenny. Lenny's by far the best.
That's all I wanted. Scissors, moving on to you.
I voted for Lenny because he's better than everyone else this season. I'm just waiting for Mint to come back, but I don't see anyone as good as Lenny right now. When I meet Lenny, he'll kill me with a shotgun. So I mean,
Okay, fair enough. Permzilla, who did you think was the best engineer?
Lenny by a mile.
Okay, so pretty
Not much to
resounding
say.
Lenny. Pretty resounding votes for Lenny there. Deox coming in. You get to sap them a lot as a spy main. Think is the best at stopping you.
I'm afraid it's going to have to be another Lenny for me. I mean, without men, there really is just no competition. I mean, I thought Evil and the Union played a very well season, but compared to Lenny, I'm afraid it's not a real contest.
I find that Nayunin just plus forwards into everybody, and because he's playing in a good team, he ends up getting some frags. But like,
Somebody's
pretty
sounds
bad.
pretty bitter right now.
he's a very ungracious victor. Everybody should remember this. Nayunin, the ungracious victor. Boo.
To be fair, when we won the first map against you guys, he did say in team chat, Bulow's so mad right now.
I wasn't even that mad.
Okay,
Go
well,
on, Ryushi.
Yep. I will now reveal the results. So, only 2 people made it through to the voting round, which was Lenny and Najunin. And second place had 272 votes, and first place had 291. So it is incredibly close between those two. And unfortunately, Lenny just edged out Najunin there. So Lenny wins with 52% of the total votes.
Poor Nigel.
Yeah, this has made me happier than anything in my life.
I'll give Nigel some credit because he's on my team, and I'm moving him over to NG was part of the master plan to get Pillux on the team.
Yeah, you were able to upgrade your heavy.
And I think, to be fair, we upgraded our engineer as well
Yeah, I'd agree
from
with that.
last season. I mean,
who did you have last season?
we had Dr. Kaka, who actually finished the season quite strongly, but we had much better communication with Najunin. And he's one of these players, he wanted to be more innovative with how he did things as NG, like try different century spots, play different, just do something out of the ordinary. Which I guess is what got him a lot of attention, because he was doing different things.
But how
And
much of that, Hildreth, was like Nayunin's own initiative, and how much of it was just general team discussion and planning? 'Cause
Most of it
obviously
was
you-
his initiative, and if
and
it
then
didn't
you just-
work,
Yeah, and then you just worked out where you'd hold your combo based on that.
no, we'd put our combo anywhere. Sentry plays off the combo with us, generally. So it's up to him, really. I'm not going to waste time with sentries, man. But he had a very good season, Nigel, but Lenny was much better in terms of just DM, and that level 3 spot on Badwater gave us so much trouble.
Well, I think we've exhausted all we can say about that class, so we'll move on to the medic, which, Bulow, you might be interested to hear. So, nominations for the medic of the season were, in no particular order, the Sucker, Thalash, Admirable, Fool, Skeege, Bulow, Sprayer, and Shep. So, Bulow, as you could not vote for yourself, who do you think deserved it, and who did you nominate?
I initially tried to nominate Flash because Permzilla said that you could nominate any player who had played 3 games, and I went through and looked to see if Flash had played 3 games or not, and he had played like 2 games as medic or something. So I thought I was legit in nominating him, but then after Permzilla told me that I could vote for Flash, he then told me I couldn't. So after that, I was a little let down. I nominated Fool just because he played for the team who won, basically. I think that's the most important thing. If you're a medic, you're a support class, you facilitate your team, and I think Hildreth and Deox played really, really well. And if you're a medic who's just dealing them, you're doing your job right.
Well, he let someone vote for Thalash, because he did get 1 nomination.
That was Samzy, and I just sort of ignored it. As he didn't get enough to get any of the actual votes, so I just sort of ignored it. Because I don't think Samzy actually cared even, so...
Fair enough. Hildreth, your thoughts?
I went for Admirable because the thought of Bulow winning Medic of the season just left me awake all night, and I didn't want to have any more nightmares, so I went for Admirable because also he's the most impactful Medic out of all of them. Well, in terms of positive, Bulow's the most impactful in terms of dying all the time. Yeah, Ads is the man.
Fair enough. Scissors, who do you feel is the hardest medic to protect?
I think I've nominated Admirable. I don't actually remember who I voted for. I didn't really think any medic stood out to me at all. So, I don't know, I don't really care who wins that one. Sorry.
Okay, fair enough. So, an excellent and really, really helpful thing to the community there from Scissors. Permzilla, who did you vote for?
Sorry.
Admirable, because he was the best, and I think he also contributes the most with his calling and stuff like that. I think he's just overall he's the best by quite a way.
Okay, and Deox, who is the easiest medic to stab, and who are you most looking forward to playing next season?
The easiest medic to stab.
Better not say Sprayer.
I'm sorry, it's him. But yeah, I mean, not really much you can see from a medic to vote for, but I mean, my vote for did go to Marvel because he seemed to look after himself, at least, compared to other medics. Not really much to say on medics.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So, if we move on to who actually won, there was obviously 3 people who made it through to the vote, Admirable, Bulow, and Fool. In 3rd place was Fool with 98 votes, 15% of it. 2nd place, now this is where it gets intense, Bulow. Where it gets intense.
Oh yeah,
okay.
my palms are really sweaty right now. Gentleman John.
So, in 2nd place was Bulow with 138 votes, 21%. And topping the charts is Admirable with 413 votes and 64% of the community.
I'm just
That's probably
surprised.
fair enough. Admirable is like probably has like the best mechanics, and like last season obviously had one. And as Permzilla said, like there are times when, from what I could tell, like Permzilla was making choices about what mediguns to run and things, and just driving his team forward and just making them play off of what he had chosen. So, I think that's deserved.
I'm surprised Fool got such little votes, because Fool's been really good this season. But Admirable's the deserved winner. Bulow. I don't know what to say, man.
I was 2nd last time. I'm alright with that. That is by far and away an inflated position, so I can't really complain.
To be fair though, the sucker quit very early in the season. Something going on behind Scissors at the moment.
Oh yeah, it's the children I have in my basement.
That's not something I would confess on stream.
Yeah.
Hear people outside.
But yeah, the sucker kind of left early in the season. So he wasn't going to get on there. Can't really say much about any of the other medics. I mean, Sprayer's okay. Nobody compared to Hiji, man. That guy was the best.
By the way, because like last season, Hiji came
was
like
so
last
good.
in nominations, and he was by far the best medic. And I'd even go so far as to say that Hiji leaving has destroyed European Highlander.
Yeah, also Hat not being there as well. It's a big blow to medics. Yeah, Admirable's a deserved winner.
Okay, I will not say what I've been saying so far, but we'll move on. We will move on as Admirable there, the deserved winner, and more Pixel trophies for him to go with his caster of the season, which he's got for the couple of seasons now. So we'll move on to Sniper, an important class as everyone knows. The nominations were, in no particular order, Mr. Rev, Droso, Elysium, Fanny, FaZe, Kcot, and Problem. So Bulow, who did you nominate and who did you vote for?
I nominated Problem because in the final, I felt that he was kind of dictating play against us, and he just played really, really well. Like even though, like on Badwater, he actually like didn't do much. Just his positioning things made it really, really difficult for us. Although having said all that, I think he had a very easy ride because his team were in control. So that's just Sniper for you. I also think he played a lot better than he did last season.
Hildreth?
Thank you. I think I went for Drozo, to be honest, because I was impressed whenever we played against Drozo for most of the times I played against him. I didn't go for Elysium because he did like destroy us in one game on wire play, but that wasn't ETF2L, and he didn't really impress me in ETF2L. Then he went, and nobody else really stood out in terms of snipers.
Okay, Permzilla?
I would have said Elysium, but he didn't play much. He sort of just played the first couple and then left, so I went for Problem.
Okay, and Scissors, who did you nominate and vote for?
I think Elysium is by far the best sniper, but I think this season Problem was just amazing. Like, he was so consistent and he just performed every time. So I voted for him. I can't vote for Elysium either, but like I would have voted for Problem regardless.
Okay, and Deox, who I can't think of anything to actually say. Tell me your thoughts.
I mean, from the games that he did play, I think he actually did play really well. Although I think Problem was a really close second because he seemed to really pull it up towards the end.
So, we had 3 people make it through to the voting, Kcot, Elysium, and Problem. So in third position was Kcot with 167 votes. Second position was Problem with 198 votes, and in first was Elysium 253. So Elysium, although he didn't get many games out, he was obviously a very popular sniper.
I think he's just developed this hype around him because I think he is clearly the best sniper. Like sometimes he just goes insane with everything, and he's also like I don't even know any demos we've had to submit for him. So I mean he has built this reputation around him, and I guess he's like very well known. So I'm not surprised that he actually won in the end.
Yeah, I mean they'll talk about their game in wire play. He played against us on Viaduct, and he destroyed us. He got like 55 frags or something. Carried the chess club to victory that day. I'm sure you remember.
The rest of us were good as
fondly.
well. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, no. It was all him, man. But he was insane in that game. But I didn't really see him the rest of the season, and I feel like as a player, you should be judged for the whole season. And if you want to count the whole of the season Problem, obviously he performed really well in the final. He had a really good season, and there was a point with our team we were considering cutting Problem for Mr. Epic. But then Problem just got so much better. I mean, that was really early in the season, and Problem just started turning it on, and there was no reason to drop him. I think maybe the motivation of cutting him made him into a superstar, or he turned on aimbot, I don't know. Don't care.
Can I request Problems demos? Permzilla, can you?
It's
like,
been more than 2 weeks, but it's
I
too
don't
late.
care.
It's
I've
too
gone.
late. It's
Everyone
over.
knows I've gone in with the admins, so you better watch yourself, Hildreth.
Yeah, you do anything to claw back that title. Ryushi.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say a phrase, which I've said like 6 times throughout this entire cast. 16.
Shall
We will move on.
Next
Yes.
on is spy nominations.
Spy nominations.
Yeah,
Yes. So,
game over.
well, yes, he did get 12 nominations, so a lot there. But Solid, Granger Bob, and Raf were also nominated. So, guys, you voted for Inso, and then we'll move on.
I'm not
Yeah.
nominated.
I voted for Insu.
I
It's by
voted for
far the
Insu.
best spy. It's a lot better than Solid.
I think
and
Solid
Solid's not-
had a better final, if you ask me. But Inso was better throughout the season, especially the regular season. A bit of controversial opinion, but Inso's better. It's quite close between them. And
I wouldn't go that far. I would say Insu's a lot better than Solid. But I think that's mostly because Solid hasn't really been playing Spy very often. I think the fact that Solid does so well in Spy says a lot about how good he is, given that he doesn't really practice it all that much. I mean, he barely turned up to any of your scrims or anything, as far as I could tell. And
Doesn't
he
matter.
was still really, really good. I think that's the difference, because obviously Solid used to be on our roster as well, and we just rotated both of them because they're both equally good. And I think that's just the thing, is that Insu has progressed since then, because he's kind of become the our main spy and played a few seasons more now than Solid, whereas Solid obviously went and played 6v6 instead. So he's maybe lagging behind in that curve.
Okay, and Hildreth, I've had your thoughts, which is obviously Inso. But Permzilla, who else, or who did you vote for and nominate?
Well, I voted nominated Inso clearly, but I think the only person anywhere near him is Solid, who was also really good. That's pretty much it.
Okay, and Scissors, who was the one who was most likely to get past your flamethrower?
Well, Solid and Inso never came near it in the first place. So. But yeah, I voted for Inso. I think he was the best. But I think it's worth noting that I think actually Granger Bob has improved a lot. Like, he was actually really good this season. So, credit for that. But Inso is clearly the best. Like, he
Does
he
he?
does it better than anyone else. Yeah, I think he does. Like, when he wants to go in and kill people, he can do that. When he wants to snipe them from afar, he can do that. Like, he can just do whatever he really wants. Like the rest of It's All Good fling. But yeah. He's
So the whole
best.
package, you heard it here, folks. Deox, who do you aspire to be?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the vote definitely went for Inso. I mean, it's clear as day how much better that he is than everyone else. But I also think that, agreeing with Scissors, that Granger did play a really good season. So he playing very differently, especially compared to Inso and Solid. Not really much to say, except Inso was the best.
Okay, so moving on to who the eventual winner, of course. 3 people made it through to the votes, and in third position we had Granger Bob with 102 votes. Second was Solid with 181, and unsurprisingly, in first was Inso with 321. So he'll get himself another little pixel trophy there to go with his previous season's one. But I mean, pretty obvious result. But season maybe Solid, if he practices a little bit more, could be getting himself that. Would you agree, guys?
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Anything's possible, Ryushi. Anything's possible.
I think the thing about spies these days is after we lost last season's final to Kill Switch, they had Snow on spy. We had Fearboy. Fearboy's a little bit like Granger Bob in the way he plays. So he's like lots of revolver, lots of decloak, invisible watch. Snow was using the Investor, and Snow was in the game with the Investor. That's something I really wanted from a spy this season. That's why we went for Solid. Wanted the type of spy that uses Investor, and that's because it's just, if you're really good with it, it's just really difficult to play against. And well, it paid off for our team in the end because he had a really good final, a pretty
Yeah,
consistent
Solid was
season.
very good on the X side against us, but like we knew he would be, because the X side's pretty much his strongest map. So
Whilst Inso choked.
no, I think Insu still had better stats than Solid on like both maps, even though we lost.
He didn't carry you guys enough. Granger Bob deserves a lot of credit because he's got a lot better this season. I was close to picking him up. I had a choice between him and Solid, and I had to go with Solid because of the Ambassador faggotry. That's my only comment on spies these days, except for when we played the EVNA show match, a medic for the Americans, I think it was the guy for ET, I forgot his name. I don't know if any of you know who it is. Bulow?
Is it 404?
404, that's
Or-
it, yeah. Perm knows it. He said to me, why don't European spies ever use their knife? All they do is shoot people with the ambassador. Which I thought was brilliant. A brilliant
Because
comment.
our spies are evolved further than American ones.
Game. I don't know. Many different reasons.
Though Akuma had a really good game against chess in our playoffs when he murked for us.
Yeah, he did.
Well, I think we've got the 9 classes out the way. So we move on to the 3 most important ones. We'll do debut first, then cash of the season, and then we'll move on to the final most important one of most valuable player. Okay. So we'll start with debut. So there was an awful lot of nominations for this. So I'll read out the long list. Was Ascendry, Admirable, Scissors, Beep, Marty, Jake, Full Evil, Fool, Solid, Sway, Sorex, Kunai, and Elysium. So and basically it was a lot of people sort of getting 1 or 2 votes, and the top 4 who eventually made it into the voting list only got 2s. So an interesting list of nominations there.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to have like one person that's a clear debut winner. That's why there's so many nominations, I guess.
Fair enough. So, Bulow, who was your nomination, and who?
I nominated and voted for Solid because he's my former teammate, and as I said, I'm incredibly biased. And again, Nick, he's just a really good player in his class, so he deserved it.
Yeah, I voted for Solid because he seemed upset that I picked Inso over him on the spy. But to be honest, he stood out more than most of the other players on the list. I mean, Admirable was very good, and he definitely deserved to be in the voting. But I think I would have gone for Solid. I think I nominated Sorax. Can't remember. Honestly, can't remember.
You went for Admirable.
Went for Admirable. Yeah.
Ah. Sorry, buddy.
Well, Permzilla, who did you nominate and vote for?
I went for Sorex because I think he should have been Scout of the Season. So winning Scout of the Season in your first season, I think that deserves debut. Well, not if he'd done it. That's what I mean. Like, I know he didn't win, but I think he should have won. That's why I voted for him.
Okay, and Scissors, as a Prem debut yourself, who did you vote for?
I voted for Sorex because, yeah, you know, he's just very good. I think he was the one debut player that made the biggest impact in my opinion, and I think he deserves the award for that.
Well, I will now. Oh no, sorry, Deox.
Once again.
Yes. apologies. But who did you vote for?
I voted for Sorex this season, and I'll vote for him because he's the one player who seemed to come into the season and then play to the highest degree, so couldn't ask for a better debut, I suppose.
Well, we had 4 people in the voting, which was, and I will listen now. We had Kunai in 4th position with 127 votes, Solid in 2nd position with 141, Elysium in 2nd with 146, Solid was 3rd, sorry, and Sorex beating us everyone and coming top with 235. So although he didn't get Scout of the Season, he does get the Premiership debut.
Yeah, really well deserved. Like he had to win something. Like he's just so good. So I'm happy that he won that one.
Yeah, I think he deserves it. In general, I mean, a bit unlucky for Solid. He had a really good season on Spy. It's just that he was overshadowed by Inso so much, but it's hard to ignore the impact he had for the team. But Sorex deserved to win something as well, because he had a really good season.
Well, if we move on to the caster of the season, there was only 4 nominations for this, because only 4 people had actually casted one game. So we had...
No, it didn't include the full list. I sort of took nominations. There were more people that casted 1 or 2 games, but
yeah, well, I think
it was basically carried by 2 people, which
Yeah.
are the 2 people in the votes.
Absolutely true. They totally deserve the positions that they've got, and that is Sigfu and High GPS. So those two were the sort of they carried this entire cast for Blackout, and well done to them. But who did you guys vote for? Who do you think was the most insightful? Who do you think entertained the most viewers? Bulow, start with you, as always.
I think I nominated IGBS, and I probably voted for him as well, just because I think he does so much. That's a bit reasoning why. I mean, he does the most, and he always does a pretty good job, in my opinion. I think maybe that sometimes, whatever he's called, can't remember now. Say his name again.
Sigafu.
Sigafu, yeah. Like, he has a really good voice for it, but I think sometimes maybe he lacked just some knowledge of the teams who he's talking about or the players, and I think that does detract from things a bit.
And Hildreth, cast yourself.
I went for Sigafu because he's a former teammate of mine, and he's just very insightful in his when he's talking about the game and what's going on. He's very insightful because he's got a lot of knowledge playing high level, a lot more than High GPS. High GPS is very good as well, and he is also very insightful. But Sigafu's got more insight. Plus, he's a bro.
Yeah, I'd say maybe that Sigafu's pretty good at communicating, like tactical things he notices, but because he wasn't necessarily familiar with the teams, he wouldn't necessarily be able to predict the way things would go. So it was more like talking about things after the fashion.
Okay, Scissors.
Yeah.
Watch any games? Who did you think was the best?
I voted for High GPS because I just really admire his dedication to it. Like, he's on the microphone every time I watch a game, a Highlander game at least. And I think that's really awesome. And I think he's a great caster as well. I think, like, they work really well as a team, so I wish I could have voted for both of them. But I think High GPS is the man when it comes to Highlander casting in Europe.
I didn't. I think I watched bits of one or two, and it's probably Sigafu for me. I think he just knows a bit more about the game. And if he knew the players, he'd be a lot better. But I guess after this season, he might know more for next season, I guess. So I vote for him.
And Deox as well?
Yeah, my vote went to GPS this time because he seems to be the one person who's really dedicated towards the casting, especially compared to the others, and he always seems to go into the most detailed analysis of what's actually going on in the game, especially compared to Sigafu. So, just went to him, I suppose.
Okay, and so you guys pretty much split up on who you decide, pretty much 50-50. So, and the community is pretty much agreeing with you here, as High GPS came second with 302, but Sigafu does edge him out with 313. So 51-49% split there on who was the pretty even. But congratulations to those two. They were both fantastic casters, and they did do so much this season.
Should we say shout out to John for streaming everything? Otherwise, nobody will mention him.
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
Screw the casters, just John. Just give it to John.
Well, this is why you can't have a streamer of the season, because it is essentially only John. So, I mean, it was congratulations to those two. But we will now move on to the most important category, the most valuable player.
All right, I'm gonna sit up for this.
Okay, so there was a couple of nominations which I personally don't understand, but I will list through them now with Laserbear, Steve, Admirable, Cadus, Jamal, Buttnose, Beep, Inso, Mookie, Sorex, and Hildreth.
Don't hit us the wrong way, but I'm curious who voted for Buttnose.
Tell you.
It was Onkaya that voted for Bunnies.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, so what? Literally one vote, wasn't it? Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I nominated Hildreth because he led his team to victory, and I think that's the most important thing. He is the leader of High Panda. High Panda, beat us fairly convincingly in the final. They won pretty much all their games, so yeah, I think Hildreth was the most important player this season, so he should be MVP.
Oh, thank you. Brings a tear to my eye to hear that from you. The MVP category, I think I went for admirable.
You went for Inso.
Oh god, I don't even remember. In terms of most valuable players, though, Inso was huge for It's All Good this season. Inso and Mookie were the two standout players for you guys. Admirable was like one of the big reasons Stacked were able to compete tactically. Unfortunately, I'm surprised Stacked didn't do as better than they ended in 5th place, to be honest. Obvious. Yeah, I voted for myself because I'm biased.
That's despicable.
Oh,
I voted for
voted
myself. I bet you
I voted for
Permzilla
John.
voted for himself as
No,
well.
not John. Joe.
Of course not.
For demo.
Don't vote for yourself. It's like public masturbation. It's disgusting. But we'll move on. Scissors and Permzilla.
I could do that as well.
But Scissors, who did you feel was the most valuable player this season?
I know I'm kind of contradicting myself with what I said about Hildreth earlier, but it looks like I actually voted for Mookie. I think that's an alright vote, because I really do feel like whenever something happened, I know you responded to that Bulow, but it just feels like whenever something needs to happen for you, it's Mookie who makes it happen. And then the rest of your team, you play very, very aggressively. And he just creates all the openings for the rest of you to move in on. And I just feel like he's the most valuable player in that regard. So I voted for Mookie.
Okay, and Perm, who did you vote for?
I went for Inso simply because he's just the most annoying player to play against out of everyone. If I'm about to play him, I'm gonna get really frustrated. So that's basically it.
Deox, who do you feel was the most valuable player in Prem? Least look forward to playing against overall?
Voted for the Hildreth here. It's simply because, as I said earlier, I mean, Cadus had the best individual skills demo, but I mean, Hildreth's the one who really pushed his whole team to win, and he just simply deserved it.
It does help you're surrounded by really good players.
Mm-hmm.
I must admit, that helps a lot. Thanks, guys.
Well, 4 people made it through to the voting, and in reverse order, we shall start with Mookie with 93 votes, 15%. Sorex with 159 votes, 25%. This is where it gets edgy. This is where it gets incredibly tight. Inso, second with 163, 26%. Hildreth,
Yay.
you are the most valuable player in ETF2L Highlander Season 6 with 218 votes and 34% of the community.
I sound so excited. Well, it was an honour to win, I guess. That's what I can say. Thank you for voting for me.
Sure, many people would disagree, but we will. I don't think there's anything else anyone can say about that. You are obviously an important part of your team. They'd fall apart without you. Yeah. You agree?
Yeah, probably.
I agree.
Thank you. Well, I think that is the end of our award show. We have no more awards to give, but I think there's quite a lot more we can talk about. The upcoming season 7, of course, which is the reason why we've got Perman here. He can tell us what he plans to ban and who he's going to ban and all that kind of stuff.
My laptop only has power for 20 more minutes, so make it fast.
I don't think we'll be talking for 20 minutes.
No, it won't be that long.
Probably like 5 minutes, don't worry about it. I would like to see, in terms of weapon, I think most of the weapons are fine. I think one of the things that might need changing are the maps a little bit, because they're a little bit stale, because we had the same for 2 seasons.
Yeah, we're definitely looking into changing that. That's why we ran that experimental cup a couple of weeks ago. A couple of weeks ago, was it like
A couple of days ago.
last Thursday or
It was
something?
literally 3 or 4 days ago.
Yeah, and basically what we got from that, I think, is the intermodal looks quite promising. We might see a little bit more of that in the future. It's a little bit of a hint, I'm not really sure on that. But the other two, what was it, they fuel and rust, didn't go down very well, so unless they're changed, I don't think we'll be seeing much of them.
I've not actually seen any of them, but I like the idea of new maps, because learning a new map is kind of really rewards the dedicated teams and the ones that can think the best, like Kill Switch did on Steel, for example. They took the map to a new level in terms of tactics. That's what I really like to see from new maps, because eventually you just get to a point where the maps will get slightly boring to play. Like we saw.
The problem is there just isn't that much of a depth in map choices, as far as I can see. Like, you have like suitable replacements like Swiftwater, but I don't like Swiftwater. And
It's
it's
horrible,
generally
man.
horrible. Yeah.
4th point's
But
terrible.
that's probably like the most viable payload map to swap in at the moment, which says it all really. Like there just isn't the depth of maps to choose that much, I don't think.
You got any thoughts, Scissors?
No, I don't know. I like the way it has been running. I don't know. I wasn't listening, sorry.
Oh, fantastic. I've got a Deox. Deox, you must have something to say.
Nope.
Oh, fantastic. Even
Yep.
Bulow, you always have
I
something
just
to
hope
say.
that Gravel Pit is gone next season. I think it's a terrible
Gravel Pit's
map.
my favourite map.
Yeah, but that doesn't say anything.
It's the best map.
I can tell you right now, it's the worst map
It's the
because
best
it's
map.
the only map that can be pretty much decided by one push, and I think that's a terrible, terrible thing for a map.
There's a lot of pressure
It's just because you're
defending.
bad on it.
Well, we won. We beat Killswitch.
Oh,
today.
you did? Oh,
Yeah.
It just has a different style. That's all. Like I like the way it plays out. It's more tactical than most of the other maps. Even if you just don't like it because if you drop, you lose the round. So that might just be a personal thing to you.
No, I think it's more that you say it's a tactical map. I would kind of disagree because ultimately it's always about 9 people being pushed in through 3 or 4 different chokes into one big arena. I just think that it's a poor map for Highlander. I think it's very tactical for 6v6. I enjoyed it playing it in the Blast from the Past Cup in 6v6, but for Highlander, as I said, it's just too because you have all 9 classes. Most of them aren't effective in certain areas, so you're kind of dictated to by the layout of the map. I just don't think it's very good.
Okay. Well, I like Gravel Pit personally. I think teams can play it differently than they do at the moment. Because I think the only team that plays Gravel Pit really aggressively on the choke points. There's more to that map. So I think it has a future. That's my opinion. I want to know below. It's so good. Are you guys coming back for season 7? That's what I really want to know.
I think it all depends. Like I said beforehand, something that's quite important to me is that we haven't like talked about a single Switch player at all, and they're ultimately the team that came 3rd this season. And obviously, they lost in the 3rd, 4th playoff. But given all the kind of drama they had and roster issues they had, the fact that they were still able to come 3rd in the regular season says an awful lot about like how good their players were. Like I know for a fact.
They just club came 3rd.
Yeah, that's what I said. Regular season. I know for a fact that at least half their team were completely uninterested in playing, and yet they were still able to beat so many of these other teams. So I think a big problem. Like I mentioned this to I don't know if Mia is putting her article out, but for me it was a really big problem when Killswitch decided to kind of tone things down a bit. Because without them playing and being strong, it really took away from the quality at the top of Prem this season. Whenever we were preparing for the final, we pretty much only played Highlander over and over and over again. We played a few other teams as well, but we were maybe a bit too familiar because I think last season, whenever Killswitch were playing really, really well and Highlander were playing well, it really forced us to play a lot better. And I think that's what you need. You need a lot of competition at the top. So the kind of them losing interest, I think, really pulled the skill ceiling or quality ceiling down this season. Like I would still say that the Killswitch team that won last season would probably beat any of the teams that were in the playoffs this season, just because of their desire.
I don't know if I agree about this.
Our team was much better than last season, but go on.
I definitely agree that the Highlander team this season was a lot better, but I don't think that you were necessarily pushed, given that you replaced so many quality players, or the replacement players that you got were of such a high quality compared to the people they were replacing. I don't think you played necessarily all that much better than you did last season, and that's what my point is that if there had been more competition at the top, you would have maybe been forced to play a bit better. Like I would say I don't feel that we played as well towards the end of the season as we did in the playoffs last season, and we still got beaten by Killswitch last season when we were playing better.
I just think that the hype end of the season, like when they play good, they're definitely the best team I have ever played against by far. I remember when we played against you, and I think it was Gravel Pit, we just couldn't do anything at all. And it was not even us playing bad or anything, it was just their rotation being superior, their players being superior, their calls being superior. Like, I definitely think the hype end of this season is the best European Highlander team. Yeah, even better than the Killswitch of last season.
Okay, and I've also been told to ask about Nations Cup, Highlander Nations Cup, which
yeah.
normally run every summer. Is this happening? What's going to happen?
It should hopefully get a announcement / info on it in the next week or so, if things go to plan. And then I'll tell you more then. But we haven't decided much at the moment. There's not much to decide other than maps, really. So.
Hildreth, are you going to be
apply for the England captain? I might. Depends really. I mean, the main thing, I'd probably want to play medic if I was to be on the team, because there's about 4 quality English demos, and there's no real standout medics. We'll have to see, because there's a lot of good English players about, so depends on what time I have. I want to know if Bulow's going for the island captain. See if he can.
I said Peep is the Irish captain. I'm fine with that. I won't get to play because the two best medics in Highlander are obviously Irish, so Admirable will be taking my spot. I just remember last year Admirable asking me about all the different unlocks, asking me what unlocks Scout actually used in Highlander, and seeming very interested by it all. And look at him now, he's the best.
To be fair, he didn't have a lot to compete against.
No, that's 100% correct.
Well, maybe it's Funkadelic Irish, I can't remember.
Funkadelic had a falling out with the hierarchy. He's the Roy Keane of the Irish national Highland team.
Scissors for Denmark.
Well, it's actually funny. Me and Freaky had been talking. We had big plans about a Danish super team, like all the way. We've been talking about it for months. And then I found out that I'm going on vacation just as it starts, like I did last season. So, once again, I won't be able to participate.
How long is your vacation for?
I'm going to America for a little over a month, so I can only participate in like 2 games, I think, or something. I don't know. That was how it was last season, and I was on vacation for a month as well there. So, yeah.
They can get quad back on Pyre. It will work out.
I guess it's just a shame because we had like worked out everything and stuff. Sorry, Freaky, if you're watching.
Deox for Scotland.
Yes, I plan to, but I'm afraid I'm in the same situation as Scissors, where I'll actually be in the States as well for 2 weeks, so wouldn't even be here
maybe
for all
we
of
can
it.
meet up.
Yeah, because America's really small.
That didn't sound creepy at all either.
Yeah. So you're not selling yourself well here. First, you've got children in the basement. Then you're trying to meet up with Deox in America. This is not going well for you.
Yeah,
I think we should be bringing this to a close before you admit to like killing someone or something like that.
Wow.
This has been the award show. I don't think I've got anything else that I can talk about. Anything else you guys want to say?
Shout out to Stacked for being so well represented in Twitch chat.
Oh, Twitch chat wasn't working for me. I give a shout out to Poke and Crazy Erica. Oh, and Lux. I've got lots of shout outs.
For everlasting award shows. He was last in all the things he was nominated for last season as well. I just want to point that out.
Shout out to Stephen because he begged for it.
Shout outs from you.
I have a shout out. I promised to give a shout out to Sprayer's Babushka. So, if she's watching.
So shout out to Permzilla for running the best damn TF2 league in the world. And stepping in here at the last minute and giving us his incredible insight.
Well, I haven't said much, but yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
He had the best insight when he disagreed with you about Mookie, to be honest.
Yeah.
Seeing as I'm the only soldier person in here, so listen to me, Bulow. I can mend Tamuki if he wants.
Well, I'll ask him. Oh
Yeah.
no, he's a Prem 6's soldier, Permzilla. How's your Prem 6's career been?
My Prem 6's team is doing fine in Div 2.
Good job, man. Good job.
Cheers.
Deox,
Mm-hmm.
shoutouts. Oh no, you already.
I did. Stephen, because he begged for it.
Okay. So guys, thanks for watching. Obviously, the awards will be announced on the ETF2L page if you did miss any of them. Although I think John's been running through them in chat as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. I've been Ryushi. Joining me has been our wonderful panel of guests: Hildreth, Permzilla, Scissors, Bulow, and Deox. On the camera has been John, as always. And this is Blackout Gaming TV. Thanks for watching.